Boom. Here we are. Welcome to Simulation 227, everyone. What is that? April's in the house. Guru, Ebony. How are you, everyone? Let's see if it's preserved our settings. Blue Rooster, how you doing? Audio, yeah, I think it preserved our settings. We don't need stereo audio. I think it's great. Nico, how are you, my brother? Jumping in right away. You're the first one today, brother. Just you and I. That's awesome. TL just joined. Kian. How are everybody doing tonight? Chris, how are you, my brother? Has to be up. He's not here anymore. We miss you, Chris. We love you, Chris. Thank you so much for being here. Game 3. The Perv. Nice. This can be read in so many different ways. Alex222. Joe released a pod today where he talked about the Danny Jones pod. So with Hamilton Morris. Cool. What did they say about it? Oh, he did watch Danny. That's how he knows about me. Danny sent him our conversation originally. Excited for the live. Thank you so much, April. We're excited as well. Oh, yeah. If you want to follow us, what's going on with my voice today? On Twitch, please join us on LaserX83. We're trying to make Twitch get 3 viewers on average per chat. And I think at this point, we got to bring it up to at least 6 on average, so it will balance out all the other chats that didn't have that. So if you want to follow on Twitch, please go from Twitch as well. And it is LaserX83. LaserX83 on Twitch. Thank you so much, Ebony. And come join our discourse if you're new to the channel. You can find it on the YouTube channel. It's the third link from the top on the main YouTube page from all my social links, and I should put it in my link tree. So let me put it on my list. Let's put it here tomorrow. Boop. Let's do it here. Ask. Discord to Linktree. Beautiful. Awesome. Ready to go. Oh, Linux 29.9 ran the experiment last night. So how did it go? Thank you so much, Nami Cat. Good to have you with us from Twitch. Excited to see people on Twitch. Are you somebody from here, also from YouTube, just so I know who is Zoom? Hot chocolate makes everything better. Yeah, also prevents you from sleeping. Also, you can check out our, but I love hot chocolate. Reality, right? Go to reality.com. Come join it if you want to check out more stuff about the channel. And this is the full link if you want to follow it. Jared Velez, the Rami Martin, Rory Case, Mark Joseph, Andrea. Welcome, everyone. Or Andrea, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but welcome either way, Joanne. Senorita B. Vicky Dukeman. Okay, great handles today. Nancy, Charles, Mason 600, nice. All right. Brian is in the house. Yeah, I want to know how it went as well. Push protocol questionnaire at the bottom of the page. Please do. As Emily said, anybody who's doing the experiment for the first time, go and check out our questionnaire on the website on codeofreality.com and let us know how it went. It's very valuable to know that stuff. Saw depth beyond the surface, but no symbols on first try. I think that since I'm still getting used to dosing with vape, getting used to getting the right laser width played a role. Definitely. How comfortable you are with the molecule plays a major role in how easily you can relax and see the space for what it is. Man, I can't wait for the day in which we're going to figure out exactly what allows some people to just see it right away and makes some people takes a little longer for some other people. I really want to know what that is. That will make everybody's life so much easier. Just saw a clip of you explaining Frog teaching you guitar, but it didn't tell the whole story. I mean, that was the whole story. That is the whole story. There's really, I've never encountered this again, and I think it was just like an opener to let me know that something real is going on. Where did you see the clip? You discovered that you had to put 2 crossed lasers to see the code. No, you don't need to. Not at all. As long as it's diffracted, it doesn't matter what the pattern of diffraction is. Thank you so much for the likes. Here on TikTok, send it to me as a message. I want to see what it is. Again, it's that's the whole story. He showed up. He showed me that it can. He basically told me that there's notes on the guitar that he can show me how to play, which means that he's giving me information I do not have, which means it's real. That was really it. Good question, Caleb. The code is basically looks like a hybrid between Hebrew and Japanese, but it's none of those things. It's just kind of symbols that we don't quite understand. But again, the importance of the code itself, of whatever that is a lot less important than what we're looking at. What is this structure that is the whole thing? What is that? That's really the main question. It points to it's making some kind of a very elaborate structure. The structure is the main story, to me at least. It's not so much the characters themselves. The characters are making a structure. That structure is the story, I believe. Oh, thank you so much, Ebony. I appreciate that. What was the question also? Hold on. Yeah, there's a lot. There's also my... here, let me should just share it here. Is that what you shared, Ebony? Which is my... Wait. The troubleshooting video? I'm not sure if that's what you shared, Ebony, but if not, then this is it. Yeah, check out if this is what you shared, Ebony, then sorry I've shared it again, but this is basically the troubleshoot video that quite a few people said that really helped them to get it easier. And if you guys are on other platforms, come join the YouTube channel, Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts on YouTube, because it will give you a lot more context and also the full scope of all the videos. Syntax and forms of structure. It's not really so much about the syntax. Thank you so much, Anita. It's more about the fact that it's just extremely coherent, the whole thing. Even though we don't know what it is, it's clearly some kind of a structure of a sort. It's coherent on its own right. Thank you so much, Adrian. I will check it right after the live. Just like, English is not the letters, the alphabet, even though they denote particular sounds in particular instances. but it all depends on the exact usage of it, the structure, the syntax, like you said, the grammar. You can see there's some kind of a physical structure in it, or some kind of a thing that you see that it coheres. It's very hard to say what it is, but yeah, it's not so much about, for me, it's not about the specific characters, even though there's just, there's too many of them. They're moving too fast, so I don't even know if it's realistic anytime soon to try and break it down. I've seen the code in a breakthrough, but it was on everything. Yeah, true, it was the same code. Yeah, so this is the most common. Thank you for that, Ken. It's the most common DM and email I get, that people see the code everywhere on all kinds, under all kinds of conditions. Usually when you drill down to it, you find out it's a different code, but it doesn't mean it's not real. I think the other codes are absolutely real. I think what the laser reveals is just a very, very, very high resolution layer of these codes. But I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of these codes. 20-minute video from a while back. Great info. People wanting to know how you get with a VR headset. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that's the first video I ever put out on the subject. So, historic video. Evil Icons in the house. Thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate you. Just... yeah, it's the first video I put out on the subject. It's so interesting to watch at this point because the style is so different in terms of execution and the way that I talk about it. Oh, you got the green laser. That's amazing. Yeah, it's like a super high def TV, like very like super HD basically. That's what it looks like, which is the surprising part. I don't think anybody expects to see something that high resolution, that stable in the space. Again, I wish I would know what allows certain people to see it quicker, because I mean, honestly, that will make everybody's life so much easier in terms, even for the skeptics, like who can just point them in the right, direction in terms of a practice, so they can see it quicker. Because people who are extremely skeptical or maybe even resistant, but still want to try, if they don't see the code right away, it is the case that very often they would just give up after like trying for a second. They say, well, if I don't see it now, why would I see it later? I agree, it's weird, and I don't know the answer to that, but it is the case that sometimes it takes a little longer. But then maybe it's because of the amount of information available. It just takes the brain some time to get used to the amount of information before it starts cohering and starts making sense. Kind of like when you start speaking a new language, there's just too much information and it's just a gibberish in the beginning, and then slowly your brain starts discerning patterns in it. Laser underwater. No, but I really see... I mean, it's true that refraction helps, but you're still going to have to project it on the surface and get it back. I'm not... Aside from changing angles, again, it might be interesting. If you want to try it, please let us know. But I don't know. In terms of safety, it feels to me like it's just way over the top at the moment. I mean, you're on the molecule, you're on the water. Do you have scuba gear? Is that... I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't risk it. I'd seen the katakana years back being engraved in my wall in real time, where it dug into the wall. It was a gold glow. This was a while under influence of another interesting molecule. Post trip, a close friend reported to see the same. Yeah, these codes are everywhere. I don't know if it's because it's green or because it's 5 milliwatts or 520 nanometer compared to the 650 1 milliwatt red one. What aspect of this makes the code so much more coherent for me with the green one? It's absolutely that it is 520 nanometers. The milliwatts doesn't matter as much. It's that it's a higher frequency, so quite literally gives you a higher resolution. That's why the waves are closer together. So you see basically even sharper image. Or maybe the people who can't see it are NPCs. I highly doubt it, because some people takes them a while and then they see it and they can't unsee it. Also, some of the people that having a hard time are very far from being NPCs in terms of character. On the same wall being written right to left without priming, we saw the same symbols and colors. Interesting that you can discern direction, because in the code that we see in the laser, there's just an infinite field of this, and I don't know if you can discern the direction. It's kind of moving all over the place. Yeah, it's like super HD, exactly. Just that the one caveat about the green laser is that because it's higher frequency, there's literally more waves hitting your retina every per second. You want to be mindful of you can't spend as much time with it, just because it eventually you can start feeling a headache. It's just too much bombardment of your retina. So something to pay attention to. What's up, Naya? Thank you so much for the likes. No matter what platform you're on, if you're on X, if you're on Twitch, if you're on YouTube or TikTok, give the live a like. The lives like that. The lives like likes. I bet you it has to do with vaccination status. Didn't think of that, actually. That would be an interesting data point, actually. Man, I mean, if that's related, that's crazy. I didn't think of that. That would be crazy. That would be an insane discovery. If we can discern who was vaccinated and who wasn't just by that, I mean, wow. That's crazy. Headaches did happen. I learned 45 minutes is not a good idea. Yeah. With the green one, this is why actually I should talk to Carter about this. I think the green one in particular has to be 1 milliwatt. It cannot be 5 milliwatts. It's just too much energy. And you can't spend more than 5 minutes with it, or maybe 10 max. Yeah, I do wonder about vaccination. That would be crazy. I mean, at this point, I'm not ruling anything out. That would be wild to find out that that's the case, if that is in fact the case. So I guess we can test it. Something we might want to put on the, yeah, let me put it here also. Let me say task. Put extra instructions for green laser must be 1 milliwatt. Don't go over 10 minutes. Beautiful. Beautiful. What's up, Sofa King? How you doing there? We're talking about the green laser currently. Let's force Anthony Fauci to try it. Let's go, baby. I have a purple laser that burns stuff. I'm sure that's not the right kind to use. Yes. Wait. A purple laser? Not a blue one? Like a straight up purple one? Wow. Have you tried the blue lasers? Yes. Red and green. Yeah. Blue is even more. So blue is even higher frequency, so even more careful with it. Yeah, no, I mean, I think they do have purple ones. That's the closest to ultraviolet. Yeah, it is purple. They're so pretty. It's my favorite color. Gotta love the purple, baby. People are like, purple is not a real color. How about that? How about purple is the only color? Everything else is fake. How's that? Boom. Take that, haters. Purple is the only real thing. Wait, which one? You're staring at the laser, the green laser? You have a green laser you're staring for an hour? Terry? I identify as purple. Me too. My 45-minute extended protocol definitely resulted in a headache, though, so we don't want that to be an issue for folks giving it a go. Exactly. How long did the headache last? Till the next day? Until you slept? My dad told me him and his friends saw similar code in the TV static in the 80s. Again, I'm telling you, these codes are everywhere. Yeah, the Veritasium video on the rainbow, I know. Boundary at the same laser as you, Dan. Yeah, exactly. 650 nanometers, 42 angle boundary. Interesting coincidence. Golden is the best color? Do we have golden lasers? There's like a special reason as to why making a truly yellow laser is very difficult. Chris shared that video with me, which was fascinating. Headache for 2 days. Susceptible to migraine and headache more than average person. No, that's no bueno. That is not good. Okay. Yeah, so definitely no 45 minutes. High power green laser, and it didn't bother me at all. That's why I saw the solution molecule. So, wait, soliton molecule. Sofa King, with the green laser, it's diffracted or it's the laser pointer? Which one is it? Yep, the rainbow video is pretty amazing. Okay, let's see what we can get into over here. Let me check something. Ooh. Let's see. Okay. Interesante. Coding language and maybe an extract sound. I'm trying to see if there's anything in the comments that I wanted to get through. Okay, so it's a laser pointer. So I think there's something about diffraction that does create the headache. What's up, Lauren? Lauren King. How you doing? Thank you, Evil Icon. Appreciate your gifts. Thank you, your generosity. Title gifted. Thank you for the heart. It's a really cool wee teddy bears. These are fun. What is that? Cigarette pack? I'd love if someone would open to voice chatting in Discord after the stream. Do we do we ever do that, Ebony? I never really thought about that. I know they have that capability. Do we ever do like a voice chats? Do we have a channel like that open? That might be for people who tried and had a hard time. Might be a good idea to do that every once in a while. We'll see if we don't finish too late. If we don't, if you tell me what channel we're usually doing it at, Ebony, then maybe I can jump there as well for 5 minutes. Let's see. A little after party a couple nights a week. Oh, We had a little after party a couple nights ago. Anyone can pop into the voice channel whenever. Awesome. Okay, so I'll check it out after. Thank you so much, Bark. Hangout voice channel. Cool. We are living in God simulation, Cody. It's exactly what's going on, basically. Just joining the call. So you may have mentioned. If so, I can rewind. Wait, David. Let me see what was asked because I don't see a comment from you from before. Wait, did you ask another question, David? I don't really see anything from you from before. Yeah, I don't see any comments from before the comment you made about. Yeah, can't really see anything. The guy ever test the laser test himself? What do you mean? In another live, sometimes we hang out and watch old episodes of Unresolved Mysteries together. Oh, that sounds dope. Are you trying to solve it? Lethargic Astenga. Ran out of characters. I just don't see any other comments. Oh, there you go. The one about Veritasium? So my original documentary, what's new or nothing? Roadblock. There's no roadblocks. Just making progress is hard. If you really want to make progress, you have to run a lot of real tests, not just make postulations, which we're doing slowly, but it takes some time. And what do you mean by saw your original documentary? We didn't put out a documentary yet. You talking about the trailer, or are you talking about the original video that I put out on the subject? Which one? Yeah, I think maybe it just eliminates some messages from me because I don't really know. It seems like portions of the conversation are missing. Can you get an artist who can see it and redraw the code accurately for more studying? Yeah, promotions. You can come join our Discord. We have some representations like that. Come check out the YouTube channel, Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts. You can just follow the link tree in my bio on TikTok. And the third link from the top on the main YouTube page is our Discord. Come join the Discord. Indeed, don't forget to like and share. Everybody should come join our Discord. We have a great community there of wonderful people exchanging ideas and or symbols. About a year ago, you had a video with Rob. Oh, and we're going to send him a video. I haven't seen anything from him since. Send him a video? And we're going to send him a video. I'm confused. Send him a video of mine, you mean? Or send him a laser is what you mean? Indeed. 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. I'm a little confused by what you were saying, Linux. Sorry, David. About Rob. I know that Rob was doing a lot of soul searching. He was going through a lot of transformations. He was traveling and doing a lot of work. So I haven't heard from him in a while either, but I think he's doing well. So maybe it would be a good idea to reach out. We spoke a few times, actually. Very nice guy. Go feed your cat. Douglas Adams was one of the great geniuses of our time. For sure. It would be great if some people just never passed away. You know what I mean? And just write more books. Can you imagine? Actually, they can probably like now. ChatGPT can probably write a novel as Douglas Adams. That would be insane. If you haven't read the whole series, you should. Like all the books of the Hitchhiker's Guide, they're amazing. All of them. Have you ever talked to people who saw the code without a laser? Yeah. Get this a lot. People see codes of all kinds. And it seems that they're slightly different. But I'm sure that they're also real. It just tells us that there's a bunch of these codes. Dark gently. Yep. They're gently good. Yep. It's the noir detective story. I love it. There was also Salmon of Doubt, which was strange, but I guess it is a combination of the stuff that he wrote. So the code sounds like a lattice of 3D symbols. Basically, yes. Hey, Dan, I don't know if this is possible, but if you look at the sun in the morning, close your eyes. I wonder if you could see it in your eyes. I don't know because I haven't tried it yet. So yes, but not that code. It's a different code. Again, there's different codes. There's codes in the light, which is what you're referring to. The code on the surface, I would postulate that it's in the surface, or it is how your brain is mapping what the surface is. That might be what it is, but it is, for all intents and purposes, belongs to the surface, not to the light hitting the surface, which is different. Kundalini gets it. Nice. Oh, and yeah, thank you for reminding us, Guru. If you guys want to check out a limited edition core merch, shirts, mugs, go to codeofreality.com and check it out. These designs will not exist anymore because we have a new logo that our wonderful designer Brittany worked on. Thank you, Carter, for connecting. So we have a new logo, and the old logo will be no more. So if you want a collector's item, that we have only very, very few shirts left of this. So, and it's not like more expensive or anything of this. It's just the regular prices. So go pick it up, because you can always get the new ones, but these will not exist anymore. Do you do anything with these codes or symbols you see? Very new, sorry. So far, we have no idea what they are. So no, so far we're not doing anything with them, but we're trying to figure out what is the structure that we're looking at and what can potentially be done with it. But it's a great question. Don't apologize at all. That's what we're doing these lives. Let me see. I had a thought that what if the code is similar but slightly unique for each person who sees it? It's possible. It's also possible that the rendering of each person makes it look as slightly different. But again, this is why I'm saying the meaning that it conveys is the important thing. It's never the symbols themselves. So I think the meaning might also maybe vary from person to person. But I would say it would have an objective layer, just like there's an objective layer to the meaning that is being attempted to being conveyed through spoken and written language. Electric Ninja saying, then if what you seem to have stumbled upon is true, this could be one of the greatest discoveries of modern times. When is the documentary coming out? Documentary is coming out in the end of the year. And yeah, it's kind of like what I said in the first video I ever put out on it. But as I also said in the first video I put out on it, I do believe that the actual discovery will be made by all of us collectively. So, yeah, I made this connection between laser and the molecule, but I think that that's not the discovery. I think that the discovery is happening as we speak through all of us. I really believe that. Like we will all bring our talents to bear, and we will figure something out together as humanity, which to me is beautiful. I think it's amazing to know that there's a possibility of all of humanity working on a common project. It warms my heart, makes me happy. You just said the same thing. I wonder if wait. Wonder if it might be a kind of soul print that correlates to our DNA. I think it I mean, it might be, but I think it's much more fundamental than that. I think it has something to do with what we call the laws of physics themselves. I've also seen presentations on Hebrew's alphabet being generated by the surface of the torus. Meru Foundation research covers this. Have you seen this? Yeah, familiar with this. It is possible that the Hebrew letters are basically represent kind of like Itzhak Bentov's work, which is that the Hebrew letters were basically a representation of energetic channels. Like that's what they look like at the core of reality. That's kind of like the theory behind it, which is why this this usage of the Hebrew language is so special, because it allows for certain energetic structures to flow in a particular way. Now, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of other mystical, I don't know what's the right word, mystical? Yeah, I guess mystical practices that allow for similar things. And I would not be surprised if the reason that the Hebrew language and, well, Aramaic language from the beginning looked the way it did, because there was some access to these fundamental energy structures that represented information in people's brain in that way, which, by the way, would be a very technical explanation as to why that is what it is. Again, it's very speculative, obviously, so we don't really know. Indeed, Doors of Perception by Aldous Huxley, one of the greats. Love to hear more about the console. Haven't recently watched your video on the subject. For example, what you were able to interact with. See, yeah, I'll be talking on the console more only when I discover more of what it is. Currently, I don't know much more than what the previous video said. As I said before, I started working on a new video on it, and then I very quickly realized that this is not going to bring value to people. I'm just kind of going in circles, saying the same thing over and over and over again. And I don't want to do that. I only want to say something when it matters and it's new. Does moving the material, the laser is projected onto while keeping the laser stationary affects what is seen? No, seems the structure still seems to be there, because I think that it's not in the surface. It's whatever. Oh, I forgot what Carter said. Actually, he tried this. I forgot if he said it's moving in the surface. I think he might. I don't remember, but that matters. But in either case, I think if it's moving with the matter, it means that it somehow codes for whatever the matter is. If it's not moving, so that means that there's another layer that is not unrelated, but it is a subspace of some sort that is not in the surface or in the light. Because when you move the light, the code is also not moving with the light, which means it's its own thing. And even if you move the surface, it's still the surface is moving in relationship to it and not the other way around. Again, all of these are interesting questions. I don't remember. I think Carter told me and I forgot. That's an important one. Let me ask him. I'm not sure. I'm going to write it down. So many things to do. When you move the surface, is the code moving with the surface? When it's time, maybe all these codes will be links to each other that shared into info collectively. Maybe. Like root systems to trees. I love this vision. What's up, Yoni? Whoa. You got it, David. Itzhak Bento is amazing. Great videos on YouTube. Yeah, I do recommend you listen to one of his longer talks. It kind of explains the deeper parts of reality. I mean, again, highly speculative, but interesting. Itzhak Bento. What if the laser is mounted on a spinning object like a fan or something and spun around so fast it looks like a light on the wall instead of a crosshair? Yeah, we tried that. Doesn't really add anything. You just see the same thing. Reminds me of how Planck level description of reality involves on E8. Informational lattice work stretched over 2D, point space, and now we're just seeing those structures as reality. Yes, these are very complex concepts. Lie groups in general are pretty complex. But projections is definitely the direction that I would be looking in. Do you have any thoughts about the movie Arrival? Love that movie. And the gift of the heptapods of the language that reveals time in a different way. I suspect that Ted Chiang, author of the original story, is dialed in. I think all of these people that are writing these things, and Douglas Adams as well, even if they're not aware of it, they're dialed into something. It's one of my favorite films. It's such a good film. Jeremy Renner is so great in that as well. I'm glad to hear that, David. Thanks for the Instagram ad. Drasko is saying, glad to be back to these after a minute. One question is, most interesting insight, if any, you discovered in regards to free will, non-duality. Free will is a deep topic that makes basically everybody uncomfortable when you talk about the negation of it. But I'm on record saying that there's no world that you can describe in which free will makes sense under the banner of what it purports to describe. I had this conversation recently with JP on via email. But this is a common conversation. It's just that if you think about what that means when you postulate that, right? Free will, the free part, what is it free of? If it's a completely free decision, the only thing it can possibly mean, otherwise you don't need the word free, right? Is free of any prior state. So it's just completely free. You can make, regardless to what the state of affairs is, you can make any decision from that point on, which of course that proposition alone is completely incoherent, because whatever freedom you postulate it being from, you're essentially saying there's no causal relationship between what happened before to what now the system that is now making the free choice can do. And since it's always constrained, to some extent it has to be, otherwise it wouldn't have a causal relationship with the rest of the world. It by definition, it is whatever state that gave rise to the what you call the free choice was the result of all the prior steps that happened in the universe. And then there's an experience of something happening in this direction or another direction, but these are constructions, they're stories, but they're not the thing that caused or decided for the branching of the world. They were just the binary that happens anyway, because it has to be either left or right. It has to be. So it's always one of them. The error correction part of it is interesting because it seems to be relying on a process that is more than just chance. In other words, there's a more constrained picking of the more proper directions as it relates to a stated goal of the system. This is where it gets very complicated. But that instance of the choice being made, which is the free will part, right? Because the will that is postulated here is not something that is broad, but something that gives rise to an instance in which there's a decision between different states. It can be between 2 or 3 or 4 states, but nevertheless, there's a choice, what we call a choice, to proceed in one of the branches. But every instance that you are postulating that is making that choice is literally an infinity that cannot be accessed by anything in reality itself. So it's almost like the hole in the donut. There's no touching it from anything, by anything in reality itself. In other words, it is the one thing that is outside of reality's ability to inspect in itself. That's why it's such a mindfuck. So I'm now in the habit of just asking people, what is the significance of free will for you? Because, and JP gave me an answer, which I didn't answer yet. He said for him it's a self-actualization thing. And to me, the answer to that seems to be you don't want to rely on that because, first of all, what you eventually discover, either you like it or not, is that there is no self, there is no thing in the middle that is making these decisions, or even is there. There's nothing there. As the Buddhists famously say, there's no one here that all of this is happening to. And that's not a metaphor, that's an actual truth. So when you discover that there is no self, there's no one that is executing that choice. There's just world lines, there's just things that happen. And it's actually much more freeing, I think, to realize that there's nothing in the middle that you need to protect or worry about, and things just kind of unfolding. And that does not remove the ability of the physical unit that you are functioning coherently in the environment that the unit finds itself in. It's a very, very complicated loop, but really, it doesn't really, I don't think it serves a real purpose in appropriation. You can basically do anything and everything without ever for 1 second noticing or caring whether you have this freedom of choice. You just act on what in the instance arising as your experience of that choice, and that gives rise to the next state of affair, next possible states of affair, and you proceed. And if you can just accept the present moment for what it is, that's that's the only thing that really should matter, right? Beyond that, it's all just kind of like a circular toil that people involve themselves with. Like, there is free will, doesn't free will, and who cares? Like, just, this is really one of these instances where I'm almost pushed without having free will of my own to say we should just live our lives. Well, this part about the free will doesn't really do anything to add or subtract anything from the picture. It really doesn't. Oh, there's a lot of comments. Hold on. Top power off. Top PDX. BRAN. For an experiment on if different lasers change anything, you could try 2 different lasers right next to each other and compare. No, it's the same code, but also we encourage people to try, because proposing things we can do forever. Let's see. Movies in the end of the year. There's not much more I can say about the wrong guy running for president. What I said is basically all there is to say. People, like I'm saying, I've always felt there will be some eventual revelation of our interconnectedness. Absolutely. Deciphering the code might be what Wolfram calls ruleology. Maybe. Do I believe in the butterfly effect? Butterfly effect there's nothing to do with free will. The butterfly effect is just the fact that small changes over time aggregate to very big effects, but it has nothing to do with the freedom of the will, because the freedom of the will postulates an agent that is completely free from reality. Otherwise, the word free does not belong in that phrase. And by the way, it doesn't mean that nothing matters. Those are separate questions. Free will refers to the experience of having a self that can make a choice that is untethered to all the previous states. That's what it must mean. Now, all the people that are doing acrobatics in their mind to make it mean something else, I'd say just change the term. The term is the wrong term. Free will. There's a will that is free. Free from what? Free from all the state of affairs that happen to give rise to it. What can else it be free from? Think about it for a second. So just change the term. It's the wrong term. There is no freedom of the will. because you cannot describe a state that is free of everything that happened before. Or if you want to postulate that, then you're saying, okay, well, then every single instance is completely new and all the previous states didn't matter. But then the agent that is postulated in the middle of it also doesn't matter. No matter how you twist this Rubik's Cube, it falls apart. Exactly. I think it gives some people some comfort, but again, there's really, it doesn't actually play the role that people think it does in their execution of a task or living their life. It's just another instance of something that you didn't actually have freedom in choosing, and your brain just gets stuck on. And it's like, okay, let's talk about whether it exists or not, which is fun. We can entertain ourselves, but ultimately, it doesn't really matter. What's up, Ellipsian? Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Donnie Darko. Mr. Nobody was a good film, too. Getting lots of good questions tonight. Indeed. You are indeed my friend. Today I saw Kurt Mungle quote a really wonderful Nietzsche quote. And I've honestly, I've heard it before, but I completely forgot it existed. And it made me so happy because it describes such a great truth. And it relates us to some people that we sometimes discuss on this podcast, and you make your decisions. I'm just going to read it for you, and then I'm going to post it on YouTube as well. The quote by Nietzsche is, whoever knows he is deep tries to be clear, but whoever wants to seem deep to the crowd tries to be obscure. For the crowd supposes that anything it cannot see to the bottom must be deep. It is so timid and goes so unwillingly into the water. This is so profound and so relevant. Here, I'll post it right here. I don't know if it's going to allow us to post the whole thing. It does. Woo! Beautiful. What a wonderful quote. Let's put it right here. Boom. Money. Is that a quote about you? No, it's a quote about it turns out. What? Reading through all the comments, guys, there's a lot, and I'm happy about that. Oh, I think I went through these. There we go. Feynman showed that in order for a particle to make any movement, it must first make every possible movement backwards and forwards in time before it can collapse into the particle you observe. Right, but don't forget that in quantum electrodynamics, which is what Feynman's major contribution was, it doesn't just land in a random state. It lands in the most likely state, that is the aggregation of all the possible paths, but the most likely ones are the ones that appear to us to be being taken, which really brings you to square one. So that part needs to be acknowledged. because you can look at it through many different models, including through gauge theory. That basically says gauge symmetry, which basically says that even the forces are the result of these statistical aggregations of all the possible paths. So even the fact that two electrons push each other away, the electromagnetic force that causes that, or the electric force that causes that, is the result of an average of the paths in some kind of a decision space that has to do with a very similar function to Feynman diagrams, what Feynman diagrams denote and describe. Let me put back our website, because this is way too big. Boom. Hold on. Now I have to go back. I feel very grateful that there's such a great engagement today, guys. Let me just get through this. Interesting. Free will comment. Maybe free means only not fully constrained to to one flow, but not free from all flows. We individuals are partial but vital co-authors with writing simulation. When you go deeper into the actual observation of your own experience, you will find out, I hear you, but you will find out that even that does not track. If you actually look closely at what it's like to be you, which is interesting. I invite everybody to try this. It's a very interesting introspection. And I take your point that maybe free does not refer to being free from everything, but semi-free, let's say. So maybe semi-free will. But I would say that even semi-free does not track at all. Because, again, what it's referring to is to some kind of an instance that is born out of an experience of an agent that is now giving rise to the next step in such a way that that exact step went through some kind of a function or an instance of pushing, so to speak, by the experiencer, the agent, in such a way that without that agent, without that decision, it would go into a completely different direction. So notice what happens here. Because reality only happens the way it does, even if it happens in all the possible ways at once, in the world line where it happens the way it did, it could not have happened in any other way, even in principle. That's the delusion. The illusion and the delusion that people have is that if they could just rewind the clock and would run it again, maybe that free agent could make a different decision at the same instance. The illusion is that you could somehow do that. But of course, what happened is what happened, and it cannot possibly now happen in any other way. And because of that, the hypothetical is not just purely imaginary, but literally impossible. And because you're talking about the ultimate state of affairs, there's no redo, there's no command Z to reality. So it already happened that way. So there is no counterfactual that you can test. So all you know is that that instance of that agent experiencing that moment resulted in path X. And saying, yeah, but if the agent wanted to do Y, they could, is a meaningless statement since it can never be verified. This is where, well, one of the illusions/delusions happen, but there's so many of them that are entangled with this instance that what I'm saying is that if you look at the instance itself that is being postulated here, it's not even that it doesn't exist, is that the concept itself is incoherent. It's as incoherent, even though it doesn't sound like that, it's as incoherent as saying this can likes giraffes. it's not just a category mistake, it's a mistake in the perception of what the situation is. So that's how confusing it is. But at the same time, that's why I mean by there's no way of describing any kind of world in which this would make sense, because what is being postulated is an incoherent concept. And no matter how you do this, you will always land in the same spot, because what you're postulating is that there's some causal instance encapsulated in an experience that is somehow, even if you're saying semi, free from everything that happened until that point. Because when you add time to the picture, you're complicating it tenfold, if not 100-fold. Because then what you're saying is, like, again, just take yourself to the moment, right? You're saying, well, there's some kind of a pause from reality that happens, and in that time period, some external time period has to be, because otherwise it's part of the causal structure. That agent, that imaginary agent, somehow ponders, should they check box X or box Y? And then when they come up with that instance of decision, they point to it, and then reality starts going again, going, they said X, let's go with X. Okay, now what does that mean? Like, okay, but when they are making that decision, where is that happening? Is there an internal component and structure and logic to that system that is making the decision? So isn't that then part of the world and the causal structure of everything that happens before it? There's no way to solve this without somehow getting into infinite regress or into some kind of a meaningless statement about something that could have been that can never be. You see what I'm saying? It's up 4428. It's a fun one to think about, but believe me, I thought of this like so deeply, and I've looked at it so closely. It never resolves itself. That's why at the end of it, you kind of go like, yeah, just live your life. Just enjoy whatever you feel is free choice, and enjoy that freedom, that perceived freedom. Lethargic is saying there is more constrained picking. My intuition screams to me of Vobson's finding in information theory, where nature optimizes systems to the minimal info state binary tree of choice thing. Yes. So Melvin is a good friend. He was on my podcast as well. You can look it up. Melvin Vobson, a conversation with him. And he just actually released a new paper that it goes even deeper into gravity and all of that stuff. It kind of puts the final kibosh on that theory. But again, the freedom of choice is a separate question than any physical process, because what is being postulated is a freedom of the will of some, you can call it an agent or a conscious moment, and that complicates things tremendously and really makes them insoluble. Dan's answer to free will question above needs to be clipped. Great nuance answer. I appreciate your links. Can you see the symbols by looking at it, focusing through a mirror? And are the symbols mirrored? No, we tried that. Can I please talk to Dan Winter about your laser experiment? I'd love to watch it. Sure. Oh, yeah. People already told me about Dan Winter. I don't know him, but sure, if it happens, it happens. Mm, You remark that our common idea of God is in top of the hierarchy, but a feminine one is very profound to me. Is this the esoteric, infinite, eternal light that taught? I have no idea. I just saw the structure like visually, like everything, but I have no idea how it connects to basically everything else. I have no idea. Like to the allegories we have and the stories, I have no idea. The things that they showed me clearly, like that Jesus Christ is real and that he's ascending and all that, I can just tell you because I literally saw it in my eyes. So I'm almost like this dumb kid, which is like looking through a window and just telling you what I'm seeing. I'm not even making any like deep connections to what we believe or don't believe about it, all of that. I did not come from the Jesus camp. I have no dog in that fight. I'm just telling you what I saw, like I'm looking at it through a window. That's it. But everything else, I don't know. So I can't really comment on that. Butterfly power is an equivalent to horsepower. No hooking up a plow to a butterfly, and yet eventually the butterflies have a deeper impact than any plow. Yeah, I would say that's just incorrect. But I know what you're trying to say. Butterflies are bums, is what I'm saying. Who hates on butterflies? What a weird fellow. I am, that is. I go right to the top before work done. Energy before work done. No questions. Yes, it falls apart. Indeed. I know I'm way behind on the comments. You guys will forgive me. I'm going to skip a few just so we can... If you want to show me cool art-based training, please email it to me. lasersimulationx@gmail.com. Ellipsian! So good to see you. And again, if you guys are just joining and if you want to give us a little bit of a kick on Twitch, please do go to LaserX83, LaserX83 on Twitch, and follow us from there. Some old rock based made very soon. I'll let you all know. Gonna be releasing some old rock. Oh, that's amazing. DJing in Mexico. Wow, that would be amazing. Send me the, yeah, email it to me as well, Ellipsian. And Lethargica, I don't really have a routine. We just kind of go. We have a little bit more of a routine for the live ones, for the weekly lives for members only, because we dive deeper into subjects, we watch videos, we analyze them. But here we just kind of flow. Okay, I have to jump to the bottom. Otherwise, we'll never get out of this. You got that right, David. I'm just messing with you. It's just that everything in the world it basically has the same influence as everything else in the world. You know, butterflies will never move a machine no matter what. The fact that they have small, minute contributions to a big aggregate eventually, butterflies are only used as an example. Everything does. You doing this, you blinking. So, that's what I think. Okay. Hi, guys. It's getting late here. I love you all. Thank you. But I have to jump off for today. If you want to follow me across platforms, it will be Danny Goller on TikTok and Instagram. It will be Goller Danny. Just swap them on X. On Twitch, it's LaserX83. And on YouTube, the most important one to me is Dango Thoughts. DANGO Thoughts. Follow me on there, and you can join the members program that includes Zoom calls with me from the second tier and up, weekly lives, aside from the daily lives for members only, in which we dive deeper into subjects. There's one coming up on Sunday. Come join it. It'll be fun. Thank you, Lycon. beautiful. And if you don't know what I'm doing when I'm making these weird gestures is on TikTok, people gift you things. There's fun graphics, and I'm trying to act those out, like these weird cat people that do all kinds of things and making every day like $5,000 a day just by making weird motions. It's crazy. This is the world we live in. It's unbelievable. Anyways, so it also gives you access to early access. English good. Thank you for joining. Who joined us? David. Thank you so much for joining our membership. I appreciate you. Welcome, my friend. Access to all my early. I will say it again this way anyway. It gives you access to early access of all my content. As you can see, my brain is fully awake. English very good. And private things from my life that will only live on YouTube members and nowhere else. You guys know the spiel. I love you. Thank you for being patient with me and my sometimes mishaps. Love you all. Thank you so much for the community, from the amazing moderators. Thank you, Guru. Thank you, David, for joining. Ebony, love you. Chris, love you, even though you're not with us here. Terry, thank you so much. And all the people that I'm not mentioning, I know about you. Ellipsian, so good to see you. April, PDX, Sarah. Ellipsian, send me the new music. I'm excited. Evil Icon, thank you so much. Nico, love you, brother. And everybody who Kate's also joined on TikTok. Couldn't see all the comments today. Appreciate you still. See you tomorrow. Peace and love. Ciao. Have a good night, guys. Balloons? There we go.